I feel like one of the whales over on this song I listened to the other day. Aesop was spitting some bars with a Hail Male Mary Mallon. It's on the channel. Money, money. No, I'm kidding. But this reaction is brought to you by Ravenous Catalyst. And that's it. Thank you. Commencement at the Obedience Academy. Now, I have to start with a little life story. First, one of the first bass lines I ever learned to play in the first gig I ever actually had, St. Cloud, Minnesota. Real secure location. It was a graduation ceremony, and Pomp and Circumstance was one of the first bass lines I ever learned. So commencement at the Obedience Academy, along with learning to do what I'm told, follow that social contract, dotting the T's and crossing the I's. You know, you got to do what you got to do. But I could play that gig, you know, as you walked out with your little tasseled hat. And you are a good conformist. Now, at the same time, I've pulled out the visualization degree more than once. Gosh, golly, gee whiz. I actually think it's sitting right down here. It might be. Oh, yeah, it is. I'm moving it. It's getting all dusty and shitty. And all it is a display piece. But towards the end, graduation, is putting the portfolio together. And this is what Commencement at the Obedience Academy means to me from just the title and all the other Aesop tunes I've heard. And me personally, right here, earning this piece of crap right here, putting together the portfolio, and they got mad that I didn't buy the suggestions. You should have called it a demand, but because I wanted to escape from the norm and I didn't want to produce the exact same portfolio that all the students were producing, they got testy. And not to, you know, the 3.8, 4.0, depending on the semester. It was pretty good. Got my name on a couple projects. I won a couple awards. Who cares? Came to graduating and producing the portfolio that I could shop around like I was a puppy coming out of a mill. No. I mean, I was like, you're kidding me, right? We're just carbon copies of each other? And honestly, it was at the beginning of things. It didn't matter what my work was. It was long as you talked the talk. Problem is I did well, but I didn't have the answers at, how do you feel about achieving? What? I drew some pictures. What? I mean, I just never, it was all weird to me because I never wanted to be my fellow students. I wasn't looking to compete against them for jobs at the same 3 places in town. That seems stupid. And I totally relate to, you do what you're told, you get what you get. Now, I don't know, if anything, I didn't even peruse the lyrics yet. I just made sure they were available for us. That being said, we're just going to see what we get. We might listen to the track and go back. We might, all lip, hardly any listen. You know? Buyer beware.
I fell asleep again. I wasn't ready for it.
The harvest appeared less plentiful than last season. I imagine sloppy seed handling evoked the stroke of tardy planting, and the crops we'd have harnessed mid-November but only brushed the blossom bracket, then soon sacrificed lives to icicle jackets when the frost hit. I sunk to find the warmth beneath the mosses with a...
Okay, we could just listen, but I think the final nail in this coffin, uh, let's say just from the obscure, what can I pull from just the start? I fell asleep again. I wasn't ready for it. Well, that seems like maybe. I'm not sure, but you know what I mean. Just at the very baseline, I mean, let's appear to put this in a dreamy state of being. Not that we want to be there, but you know, possibly surreal, possibly otherworldly. Because yeah, I fell asleep again. I'm asleep, possibly, while telling you this tale. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying I think certain times a stage is being set. This is the platform I'm going to tell you my story from. You know, I don't know if it's the dream realm or not, but I'll go with face value. Then, this I did peruse as I was putting it together, this first set of bars. The harvest appeared less plentiful than last season, I imagine. So I just take that first line. Well, we got some personal scarcity, struggle, harvest real important. So think about it from the level of what about a time and place where you didn't harvest enough food, you didn't make it through the winter, and then why? Well, you know, sloppy seed handling. Ow, could be our own fault. Invoked a stroke of tardy plant. Again, tardy planting. We weren't on the seasons. I think we should have taken the Farmer's Almanac out of the crapper and put it in the pantry or the office where we could have read it more often instead of just looking at it while we were wasting time. I'm just saying we weren't on task. And the crops we have harnessed. Tardy planting and the crops we have harnessed. Yeah, then it seems, once again, I would just go with scarcity or need, want, not abundance. And then I'd start with there. Now, I could be totally wrong, but I mean, let's say if I was, carrying on our subplot from the last three reactions, isn't there always at least a face value we can start with the facade, what the words just actually mean. It just still bugs me. They got a bunch of words that rhyme. I'm sure if you're a fan of the artist, you must realize the ridiculousness of that comment that, he's not going to hit the highest of highs because the consumers of society do not. I'm not talking top shelf here. It's craft. It's a craft creation. I think we don't like anything from the heart. I think we like heartless, cold, corporate endorsed garbage. But now I'm just beating that dead horse. So I don't really know obedience at all. But yeah, I think we're kind of on the downer side of things right now. Is my opinion.
Tardy planting and the crops we'd have harnessed mid-November. It only brushed the blossom bracket, then soon sacrificed lives to icicle jackets when the frost hit. I sunk to find the warmth beneath the mosses, with a plan to tunnel past after the rains and run their courses. But alas, the portraits of these frostbit corpses tortured in the grass offered this torch support of one tall glass and horses. And I'm asking you, why's the spice of fly hiding in strangers when they know atop the food chains I can spot biters for acres? Now be gracious, these minstrels turn the bully psycho-civil by dissolving the candy-coated image down to the pixels. Bringing a self-styled Freedom Brigade investors in their studies connecting one-hit wonders with dust collectors, puts it down and it's down beneath this happy sing.
Holy shit, is this scarcity in the music scene? Sorry. I know. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I would I'd jump out the window right here and go, man, it feels like reflecting on, what if a whole lot of our art is really reflecting on the path it took to get us to that moment of creation? I mean, it would really pull the curtain back pretty easy, wouldn't it? I don't know.
Absorbing the candy-coated image down to the pixels. The upbringing of self-style freedom brigade investors. And their studies connecting one-hit wonders with dust collectors. Puts it down, and it's down beneath
Yeah,
the
it's that one-hit wonders, dust collectors. Because I think this happens a lot. Create an imagery. I still think this is shady, surreal, reflecting on like many other artists, reflecting on it all. But it's you can't call it what it is because you're also trying to navigate it. I don't know. I'm sure I'll find out the hard way that it's something completely different. But I'm only going with the little bit I know at this point. And it's still a little. And I don't like even the reaction might be brought to us by Ravenous. Thank you. But like the playlist they supplied for me, sometimes I get enough energy to set everything up and hit record. And the filling in the backstory is tough because I'm busting this out before I can go into the kitchen. So it's a balance. I don't know as much as I want to know. I only take it from, let's say, the lyrical offering only, right? I mean, the few images I have of the artist don't put together a full picture in any way. But the lyrics, which is the main reason we're here, always... Yep. Gosh, you'd think people would be grateful for something a little more complicated and interesting. But I suppose everything's got to be watered down. Now that sugar-coated by dissolving the candy-coated image down to the pixels. That's just sticking with me. It seems like that has a lot to do with what we're trying to figure out, that line. But I could be, obviously.
The one tall glass and horses, and I'm asking you, why's the spice of fly hiding in strangers when they know what's top the food chains? I can spot biters for acres, now be gracious. These minstrels turn the bully psycho-civil by dissolving the candy-coated image down to the pixels. The upbringing of self-style freedom brigade investors, and their studies connecting one-hit wonders with dust collectors. Puts it down, and it's down beneath this happy sing-along. So let's take it further down, we'll let Dante decide which ring I'm on. Nova, the elders took positions in advance march. Parts plain as steamed hawk in the rain of my
Sorry, is the Dante, the Inferno reference on what layer of hell is he existing at this moment. I like it.
I'm like, point. I guess I can sit long, so let's take it further down. We'll let Dante decide which ring I'm on. Nova, the elders took positions in advance march. Parts plain as steamed hawk in the rain of my cantina. I'm like, point. I guess I can spare a splash for a couple of heads. Counterpoint. During my famine, I never got broke you or bread. Well, equation of intrigue. Yes, let me fence it for a bit. These tense lips need soaking before hand out tokens. Shut the fuck up. Drama like Kabuki with a heart of dirt. Skull fuck crossbones, hence my birth. It hurts. Check, must not sleep. Must warn others. Trust blocks creep where the dust storm hovers. I melt my habitat for almost everything I want. Sometimes I take it all and still can't feel this pitfall in my gut. And I'm like, must not sleep, must warn others. Trust blocks creep where the dust storm hovers. I'm trying to walk on top of sunshine, but it's ridiculous at times. That's why I'm torn with this warning. The glory of our advance. Fire ants to water beetles. Freemasons adjacent to pacing on pins and needles. Pupil turn pedagogue benediction to my dream. In a billion bottle rockets off the golden mezzanine. And I plug the petals off a classic blood rose one at a time, gripping the stem and right invite the thorns to dig up in my lifelines. A metaphor for nighttime. And he up the slight cost of exhaustion.
Did he just do what we're talking about right there? Just in case you didn't understand the Nah, it doesn't. I'm looking and I have a hard time thinking that that's so. No, maybe not. Uh, just throw it in there as well, honestly, it's a metaphor for nighttime. Could this be a reference back to the opening line that puts us in this dreamlike, surreal state where things like, look at that, was that Milton, Paradise Lost? Eh, Dante, the Inferno. I mean, you're Homer away from the classics, aren't you? Well, some literature classes, considerations of classics. I'm sure it's a much bigger list than Rollen could ever comprehend. And I ain't read one of them. Do I understand what they're mostly about? Yes. That's why I think it works, because instead of I haven't read it, but the concepts put me into. All right, this music puts me into a place where I'm sitting back with the smart kids smoking a big fatty on lunch, because I didn't need the food. I was better living through chemistry. That we're gonna go with that, and but it's passing one around talking about just some out there. Like the I'm not saying intelligent. I don't really want to put myself on anything, but the non-idiot version of the Wayne and Garth laying on the hood, looking at the stars, contemplating their simple realities. Just maybe hanging out with the group that gets to contemplate reality a little bit more creatively, than the Lunchables set. That's the problem. I think he lives in a world where they want Lunchables, and he's, hand carved turkey on a, artisan sourdough. Oh, God, I've been cooking for a year now.
Just to salute the moon above paradise lost, and you're a spectator, stringent. It's my sacred and shoveling coal into my earthworm soul. Burrow up through the dirt with bloody digit, lick my knuckles clean. Noting the corporate clusters, holding hands round the abode of the damned. And what's your poison? Starlight in a mesa with a nicotine chaser, sipping clean, savor the taste of sit and dream later. The eyelids pivot back upon their hinges, 20 miles across the glassy-eyed window of wonders that passes by. Now I'm 6'4" with a 6th floor walk up just to recline with no free time. The alarm storms at night. My daytime's on some yes sir. Okay sir, right away sir. Sir, do you mind if I breathe sir? Oh you do? Well excuse me sir, fuck you. I breathe slow. I'm running with these fantastic amalgams, painting casket bound careers to peers, gunning with plastic albums. Security's the javelin, catch it. Labor, clocked in.
There certainly can be a personal level I don't know because I don't know my Aesop lore. But yeah, I mean, come on. Kind of feels like dealing with douchebag industry people or something like that. I mean, you're on your second album, you're out there now, you got the skill set. I'm sure you're being noticed by other people in the industry, in the game, from performances that are just like the right person sees the right performance and wow, now they're talking about you. But then you get to meet some of the people that are talking about you and you like, I wouldn't. I long for this moment to end because being next to you makes my skin crawl. I just got a feeling. It's from a different perspective, but quite a few of the artists that I enjoy have similar reflections on the game. I think. Now I totally accept I could be way off base. That's the dilemma. At least this reaction is brought to you by Ravenous Catalyst, and we're showing up for the album Float for sure. Usually the type of stacks that show up like they did yesterday run away. But there's something in that self-loathing comment that was left for me yesterday that hit the nail a little too close to I drove that one home. I don't need to countersent that shit. So instead of running away from anything, thought, take a look at see what we could do. I don't think we're far off base in my personal opinion, but of course, all my opinions are for entertainment purposes only, and because I would never want to flow like I'm confident and sure of myself, you get all those disclaimers. But some of the lines, at least at one level of the cipher, sure makes sense in that direction. There's all kinds of, let's just say, imagery and ambient sounds created with words. I mean, he fills the room with ideas and pictures, but sometimes I don't think it's as, especially with the title. This is one of those where it seems like it. Sign here, play ball, be an obedient artist, and we'll get you covered. And I can only look and reflect this through like Hollywood, but a couple of them have actually explained how when they get you, they whisper in your ear constantly something, get you out there to maybe, sit in a completely empty theater and celebrate the #1 movie in the world. Now, is it supposed to be sad? Is it supposed to be bold? Is it supposed to be completely cringy? I don't know. But I'm guessing the person whispering in the actress's ear has more to do with this stuff than, let's say, common sense. But I don't know. And that's where we're going to go with that. Let it finish up. But I think these bars here really lend towards some reflection on, I'm going to, if I had to put it in a nutshell, it seems like in a dreamlike, surreal state, I could contemplate the scarcity, and I'm just picking the words I liked, but the very thin and, humanly corrupted offerings available in the music industry when you are a creative. Well, I breathe slow and I'm running with these fantastic amalgams. I believe this is some kick-ass language, but painted caskets bound careers to pieces gunning with plastic albums. I think there's a reference to cutting records and shit right here, but I don't know, maybe not. Sure seems like it.
About careers to peers gunning with plastic albums. Security's the javelin, catch it. Labor, clocked in at 7-6 and haven't clocked that ever since. Yo, must not sleep, must warn others. Trust blocks creep where the dust storm hovers. I melt my habitat for almost everything I want. Sometimes I take it all and still can't feel this pitfall in my gut. And it's like, must not sleep, must warn others. Trust blocks creep where the dust storm hovers. I'm trying to walk on top of sunshine, but it's ridiculous at times. That's why I'm touring with this warning. Feeling it's like must not sleep, must warn others. Trust blocks creep where the dust storm hovers. I melt my habitat for almost everything I want. Sometimes I take it all and still can't feel this pitfall in my gut. And it's like must not sleep, must warn others. Trust blocks creep where the dust storm hovers. I'm trying to walk on top of sunshine, but it's ridiculous at times. That's why I'm touring with this warning. Feeling it's like that.
God, that jazzy hook is hot. Yeah, no, I really like that little piece. Sometimes I take it all in and still can't feel this pitfall in my gut, but I get to the end and I'm like, man, maybe it's the warn others of the nonstop pitfalls and poorly harvested crops when there's probably much better fruit bearing trees available to harvest from, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't think for the words I picked, the interpretation of them, I don't think that's far off for a personal reflection. If I wanted to take that thing from it, well, there you go. There's 24 minutes saying I could easily interpret it that way. If I stay ignorant to the actual lore and truth, I found meaning in it, even if that wasn't the meaning intended. And we'll leave with the best example of They were interviewing. Yeah, I saw Violent Femmes years ago with, man, Danzig was at that show. It was just weird. It was like 93 The Edge Winter Ball or something like that. I don't remember, but it was the Bloodhound Gang. What's his name? Bob Dylan's kid, the Wallflowers. It's a crazy ass show. But the Violent Femmes were on this tour, and it was super good. Now, and I've been listening to a bunch of it in the kitchen. I really like. I learned a little lore over there, and long story short, that's not really possible for me, but they were talking about, I think it was not Added Up, Blister in the Sun or something like that, and how they were asking him what it was about, and he tells the story of how a few years back someone came and was telling him what his song was about, and he was like, really? Yeah, let me know. Because for me, it was a series of feelings and words that came together in a context that you interpreted a certain way. Did I mean that? No. Especially when I looked into one of the backgrounds of the artist, it was interesting because the people were interpreting the lyrics as an indictment of certain things that were actually an embrace and celebration of. So it's weird how it works. I would think Aesop is in that category. Depending on the level of your participation with his music, is really going to tell you what you're going to get from it. Like, if you just like a banger, holy shit, I think half his catalog probably qualifies, right? You like a sing-along number, I think he's indicted that idea enough that you're welcome to listen, but you weren't invited in the first place. And that's going to create that dilemma that we've been harping on for 3 reactions now. For the group that I think it goes right over their head, well, sure. It's because it probably wasn't designed to keep up with your, lunchable energy drink, lunchable 5-hour energy thing. And, I drink enough, so I'm part of that. But I try to leave it behind. I'm just saying. Commencement at the Obedience Academy, that is fire. That is fire. And Ravenous Catalyst out there supporting the channel, and I just cannot begin. No, I can. I'll do another one tomorrow. And I'll put your money where my mouth is. Later.